Hello, everyone. Welcome to this update. Much is happening in the military world, and we are clamoring for peace in the world. But the war that is ongoing now in Ukraine, it is not necessary, it is avoidable, and the world does not need it in any way, form, or manner. But like I used to say, Russia is equal to war, and war is equal to Russia. All right. The flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet was struck and sunk by a pair of Ukrainian missiles, a military feat seen as a significant blow to Moscow's Ukraine military campaign. Vladimir Putin said he wants to embark on special military operation, but now it has turned to him a special fruitless disaster. The missile cruiser Moskva was critically damaged in an explosion on Thursday in the Black Sea south of Odessa and later sank as it was being towed to Crimea for repairs. The 12,000-ton warship, which was more than 600 feet long, is thought to have had a crew of almost 500 men and was a major element of Russia's naval strategy in the Black Sea. But now that has become a history. The Ukrainians have sunk the nonsense. And that is good riddance to a bad rubbish. Good riddance to a bad rubbish. The inhabitants of Odessa are really scared because they know what damage this thing you are looking at here in your screen, the damage it could do to their native land. But as God will have it, the Titanic has sunk. The ship is now several thousands of feet below the water surface. All right. The Russian Navy's Black Sea flagship vessel, the Moskva missile cruiser, sank on Thursday, a day after Ukraine said it fired missiles at the warship. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, lies in a situation like this, lies are expected as a face-saving strategy. You understand? I'm not saying Russians are lying, please. I'm not saying that. Don't quote me wrong. Okay, according to Russian Defense Ministry, as reported by state media, TASS, the ship sank during a towing operation, and during the towing of the Moskva cruiser to the port of destination, the ship lost its stability due to damage to the hull received during the fire from the detonation of ammunition. In the condition of stormy seas, the ship sank. That is what they claim. But to us that have a bit of military expertise and intelligence, all of these are not adding up. Russian authorities initially said the ship was seriously damaged due to a fire on board without acknowledging any attack. The 500 members of the crew were evacuated, the ministry said. On the other hand, there is always a two-side to every coin. If it doesn't have a two-side, then it is not a coin. There is always a two-side to every coin. Every coin that doesn't have two sides is not a coin. On the other hand, Ukraine said its military fire on the Moskva. Moskva is the name of this ship you see here. This cruise missile ship. Ukraine said their military fire on this ship. They fire Neptune missiles. That's another kind of missile. Long range, strategic, and laser. That they fire Neptune missile guarding the Black Sea caused very serious damage to the Russian ship. The head of the ship was knocked off by missiles. But this same ship was the ship that the crew were telling the Ukraine, the Coast Guard in Ukraine, that they should surrender on the first day of the invasion. And the popular word from the Ukraine side, "Go fuck yourself," was said. They said it to the crew of this ship. And now, like a prophecy, the ship and the crew are fucking themselves now, according to the prophets of the Ukrainian Coastal Guard. All right. The Moskva and his crew were memorably told to go fuck yourself by a Ukrainian soldier during the attack on Snake Island at the beginning of the Russian invasion. Early on Friday, explosions were heard in Kiev. The lawmakers said that 3 explosions were heard in the capital, adding that most likely that is the response of Russia to the sinking of the Moskva. Because I heard Vladimir Putin is very angry for the sinking of the Moskva and eager to retaliate. So, as a result, like 3 explosions happened in Kiev. In an overnight address, Ukrainian President Mr. Volodymyr Zelensky praised Ukrainians for having survived 50 days under Russian invasion and paid homage to those who have shown that Russian ships can go only to the bottom. So, Alagbara Pele Pele. So, this is a breaking news. And to the others, this is sharing news, because this ship can only increase the agony of the people of Odessa and Ukraine in general. But as God will have it, the ship has gone down. That is an embarrassment to Russia, the country, the military that prided itself as the second biggest in the world. But now I did not see anything big or anything biggest in this place. I see only disaster here. This has nothing to do with the biggest army in the world or the smallest army in the world. This is as a result of decadence, corruption, stupid arrogance, thinking the world belongs to you, oppression, depression, repression, and suppression. So, like I used to say, I don't know anything. I'm just eating the nails on the head, irrespective of whose ox is God. That is what we do at Diamond Hills. War is not good. We are pushing for peace. But then, when somebody comes to your house, kick your butt, slap your face, slap your wife, try to cut away all that you've got, it is your responsibility to stand up and defend yourself. It is unbecoming of Russia to be playing the role of aggressor when they think they see small targets, weaker victims. But now, the victim is fast becoming the victor now, as the case is unfolding now. Our heart goes to the lovely Ukrainian people that have done nothing apart from staying where God has created them. We pray that this war come to an end, either through ceasefire or through roundtable discussion, compromises here and there, but in an atmosphere of justice, fair play, and let the oppressor be ready to reparate every damages they've done to the psyche of this innocent, peace-loving, upwardly mobile, 21st century democratic nation, Ukraine. They deserve to have their peace. Everybody must respect international boundary. Everybody must be polite, civil. This is not 19th or 18th or 17th century where only might is right. You know, now we have to respect the power of the law, and on the other hand, not glorifying the law of power. Might is not always right, and power does not emanate every time from the barrel of the gun. Our experience in this Russia-Ukraine war has taught us a lot of lessons, that it is not the size of the man in the fight that matter. Rather, it is the size of the fight in the man that matters. Normally, Russia should overrun Ukraine in a matter of days because the artillery, the weapon, the military infrastructure, defense budget, the men, the military forces, experiences, history. But at the end of the day, everything seems not to matter now. It seems Russia is overrated. And now in boxing, there is something we call in combat sport that we say somebody has exposed the other. You know, when an established, fearful heavyweight champion of the world, for example, is knocked out by a lowly rated journeyman, then we say the journeyman has exposed the champion. Such cases has happened a lot in boxing, but I will not be mentioning names now. You understand it? You know, when one of the most notorious, baddest guy in boxing was knocked out by somebody that we never expected in the 90s, we call it an upset. We say this guy has exposed the baddest boxer in the world. Now, Russia thought they were something spectacular in the military world, but now Ukraine is teaching them that there is, to every book, there are many chapters. We are seeing another chapter of Russia, the terrorism chapter of Russia, the raping aspect of Russian army, the killing aspect, the war crime committing aspect, the genocide that are bombing hospitals, the second best military in the world that is bombing hospital, that is bombing children, that are bombing pregnant women. I don't think Russia should know better. A permanent member of the United Nations Security Council that sits in the United Nations Human Rights Council should know that you should not bomb residential apartment, civilian infrastructures, theaters, hospitals, kindergarten. There is law to everything. Russia should know better. Now that Moskva is gone, we'll see where the pendulum swing in the course of the war. We keep our finger crossed, we put our fingers on the taps, we are watching right, left, and center for an end to this needless pogrom, genocide, onslaught, debacle, and this must come to an end. Because accepted, the principal actors that started this war from Moscow will pay the price in the nearest future. But before then, what happens to the families, the children that are dead? Are they going to bring them back to life? As long as Russia cannot bring them back to life, they have to exercise caution, put an end to this aggression, put an end to these hostilities, let peace reign. Ukraine have the right to defend themselves. And Russia, the onus is on Russia to withdraw their troops and discuss on the round table instead of throwing round missiles, killing, shelling. Of course, Russia must have lost billions of dollars since the beginning of this their needless aggression. I heard more than 20,000 troops, like 200 tanks are lost. A lot of fighter jets, attack helicopters, platforms, trucks, transport vehicles. All of these are gone for no good reasons. Misunderstanding between brothers and sisters, leading to this is a disgrace that this is happening in the 21st century, that neighbors that were together in one nation before are doing this to themselves because somebody think he has the power. He can do whatever he like. I'm a military might. I've done it before in Chechnya, nothing happened. I did it in Syria, nothing happened. I went to Syria, in Afghanistan, I did it, nothing happened. I went to Georgia, I did it, nothing happened. And now they want to repeat it again. But it seems this time something is happening and more are still going to happen. There is no peace for the killer. Those that kill must be killed. That is how it is. That is how it's going to be. To round it off, Moskva is gone. The platform, the flagship of the Russian Navy fleet at the Black Sea, sank as a result of missiles and artillery fires. But then, as arrogant as Russia is, they will never accept this. No, there was an explosion, and the explosion had impact on the ship, and that is why we want to tow it to Crimea to repair along the line. As a result of the impact, the ship and the result of the weather, the ship could no longer be towed, and then it started sinking. Hey, come off it. Say this to kindergarten children. You can say this to kindergarten children. So, to everything, there is a beginning and end. I think this is the time for Russia to put an end to these needless, useless military operations. It's an embarrassment to Russia that Ukraine, that is not rated in the world of military, in the military world, is doing this to them. As a result of desperation, Russia started attacking children, civilian infrastructures, as a means of getting back. If I cannot get your soldier, I can get your civilian. If your soldier are so good, so skillful, so crafty, if they are so so trained that I cannot reach them, I can reach the civilian. That is what Russia is saying. My friend is beating me, I cannot beat him back. Then I go to beat his small brother. I want to beat his children. That is what Russia is doing. That is the equivalent of what Russia is doing now. Man to man, soldier to soldier, let's fight. No, but we can fight the civilians that are not trained. That is an embarrassment. Till I come your way next time. This is Diamond Hills. We hit the nails on the head, irrespective of whose ox is God. Trust us for direct news, honest assessment. We give it to you hot and lively. That is what we do, without mincing word. Till I come your way next time, subscribe to our channel, press the notification bells, drop your comment, like our content. Have a nice day. See you next time. Bye.